because it has that huge environmental hazard in the middle of the map that teams can take advantage of.
Take advantage indeed, Blank. And we're going to get in. It's not going to be true goats, but there is going to be that monkey Moira on the side of SMC. Side effects running floats, if you will. Goats with the Zen, but the Winston as well. And into the cage we go. Well is unlocked, and the game has begun.
This seems like a little bit strange for me because they are going to apply the Discord Orb immediately to Boga. He is forced in the background by Mini, but Sab goes down first, so no more Discord Orb. Gustav picking up Spox second. That's some big picks, and pretty much the fight is done and dusted from there. Side effects know they have to reset.
That is actually a really, really clean fight coming in from SMC. What do? The Discord Orb is applied, but it doesn't matter if you don't have time to actually be able to engage on that target, right? Something that you don't really get a sense of is how quickly the game moves when you're playing Reinhardt v Reinhardt, but that shield allows so much pressure to be mitigated. With the
Yeah,
Winston, you don't have time
he
to
plays
apply
slow.
that. It's in your face every moment. So SMC with a very, very quick start, but unfortunately, it is going to be a reset there for them as we headed to a quick pause here on
Yes.
Ilios.
Winston's like an F1 car. It's in your face.
Yeah.
It's fast. It's noisy. It's difficult to deal with, and it goes back to almost Dive of days of old, right? All the way back over there. Remember when we saw Dive, and everyone hated it. Now we all hate goats. But this is the thing: is it you jump onto the Zen if you cannot provide the support for Zen, which Spoxes apparently could not. Zen's just going to die, and you lose that. It's almost a win condition for them. The 30% extra damage coming out from the Discord Orb because you need
Yeah.
to hit that Winston, right?
You absolutely, and to be fair, that goes to the Zarya bubble actually, because Discord, or sorry, Shield Bash does not apply through shields now, and even though Zarya bubble would have blocked in the beginning anyway. That being said, like the bubbles were on point. They can't get the peel with the Shield Bash, and the boot from the Lucio is also not in time. So that's two of your peel gone, and then you just got a free entry into a character that does not move fast at all. The Zen goes down very, very quickly, and that's the fight over. I think one of the things that we didn't get a chance to really talk about though is JK Lol's Reinhardt, and in this case, the lack thereof. Could be, SMC playing to his strengths in that
Yeah.
regard, because Winston is a character we or a hero we actually defined him as being pretty good on.
And this is actually a conversation I had with Panda towards the beginning of this season. Is we talked about how I don't know if any of you guys at home watch Chinese Contenders, but in Chinese Contenders they tend to play this very aggressive play style. They are so very happy with playing Winston, and some people even liken JK Lol to the Gushue of EU Contenders. You see how good he is on this Winston, drops down the bubble and closes off everyone else, just the Zens in there, and it's in such a small enclosed space. They play the Mora to their advantage. We are going to go to a quick break here whilst we sort some technical difficulties out. We are just currently getting a pause. We'll be back with you as soon as possible, so don't go anywhere. Hi guys, welcome back. We're back again. We had to take a quick break because that engage was so hot. It was so
Very
hot. We had to
spicy,
cool
yeah.
down over here. So, we got a little bit of water. But now side effects have reset, coming back to point now.
It's going to be interesting here because that fight was so clean, but SMC actually managed to find a lot of ult charge. Look at that. Poly up to 77%, JK Law up to 80%, and they're going to go in very aggressively on it.
A massive amount cleave. There is no leap available now, so JK Law has to play a little bit more passive. Shield goes down, so he knows he can isolate Sap in the back here. There's a nice protected barrier, but there is the primal rage. In close quarter space, it's going to be very dangerous for Sap. Luckily, he's getting bapped all the way back to spawn. Maybe get some healing, but the people, they do come to the rescue. Side effects, they do stabilize here, but JK Law trying to get out as quickly as possible. Carve on the point. Poly all the way towards the back. The rally is out from Spoxers now, so they have that buffer of armor. Out comes the Graviton. There is a shield available. It's going to break very soon. Barbecue puts them all on the barbecue itself, and they're done.
They're going to be cleaning up the last frags here as they flip the point back in. Only a grand total of 7% achieved. And, my bad, 8%. That fight, man. Talk about how being aggressive very early on can set the stage to allow yourself to win fights back out. SMC do end up having JK Law go a little too far forward. He does get taken down, but they've bought themselves so much space. The Grav combo is available, and with no Reinhardt bubble, they're able to just set it up and knock him down. And heading into this next fight, while they did switch up the Zen, they are still sitting pretty.
Yeah, Slur knows he has to go to the Zen now because JK Law just getting far too well. Boga getting far too much pressure on the point. You see him already going very low, so he has to back out. And that's what gave him the opportunity last time. Soundbright to engage, a lot of healing, a lot of over barriers. Frost has to back up. They don't get as much balance as you like. Barbecue going extremely low. Discord Orb is on top of him, so Sap finds that. Another Graviton, 2 out there. The grab is in. Mouse finds Boga, but that's about it. Side effects stabilizing on the point. 88% though means that it pretty much has to be perfection from here on out.
And the first Graviton surge into a support ultimate and is going to spell disaster. You don't find the damage you need. And even though SMC's Mouse did have that Graviton available, no follow-up to be had, and they die without getting the Transcendence online. So for them, that fight ends up being a bit of a wash in that regard. Walking in now, Rally and Transcendence is all they've got. And it's going to have to be a little bit of a dry fight, I think, for SMC.
Yeah, we rally first Boxers immediately with the reaction there once they get the armor out as quickly as possible, so they have it going. JK Law in the back, however, so side effects are pretty free on this back line. Transcendence use early as well, as Frost is nowhere near the grab, so it's able to be used aggressively there. Out comes a Diva Bomb, doesn't find anything, so really, what else happened here is Mede just wants to get back in the mech, but it's Boga going huge. 2 lead pack kills going for a second. This Primal Rage is massive from Boga right now. Well played to him.
And they're going to clean up here. Actually, this might actually end up turning back into SMC's favor as Frost is caught out, taken down at the very last. It is going to be the Lucio Winston to be taken care of at the very end. And it will likely spell the end of this fight as they take it back over. That comes down to SMC realizing that side effects has used a lot of ultimates, no value to be found, and then they take their advantage with a good Primal Rage from JK Law. Now in overtime territory, side effects have to trickle in.
Medehan not able to keep the mech with the Soundbringer as it came out. In comes this massive big self-destruct there. Will take Boga away from the fight. The grab is there, but nothing else to be done. Sab is only going to get alive a little bit longer with that projected barrier. And that is, well, going for the Shoes Money crew after pretty much a dominant performance to begin with.
That was actually really, really good from Mouse. He gets knocked off the map by the Brigitte's whip shot. And as he's falling, the Graviton Surge is launched. It's pretty as you like, on the corner, catches everyone as it needs. They clean them up, and SMC will take our round 1 in actually pretty handy fashion. At no point in time did side effects really look like they controlled that point. Yes, they did take some percentage, but it was an ult dump that got them there. And for Shoes Money Crew, I think you're happy with how that first round went. Very clinical in terms of their execution. There wasn't really a whole lot of hesitation from SMC. You know, they saw what they wanted to do, they executed on it perfectly, and they start Ilios 1-0. Now headed to Lighthouse. We're gonna see good old-fashioned Rhine goes from SMC. Side effects going a little bit more off the top with the Sombra Pharah.
Yeah, they played something similar to this yesterday on King's Row here. And this is a competition that's all about making space. So really Shoes Money Crew, they know how to go all the way back though. I'm pretty sure they would have been okay on that if they just sat on point and used shield to their advantage. But JK Law, he wants to play the Winston.
He does. I think they. Oh, okay. That's a,
Oh,
that's a
nice.
direct into a right there with the Hammond cleaning up. They want the Stomber for the Hammond though, because you've got the two hyper mobile tanks in Winston and Hammond, and you need to shut down one of them. So Pauly is going to be able to roam around a little bit. They don't really have that spy checking diva, right? It's going to have to be up to. It's a side effect. It's going to have to be a team effort here to find out where Pauly's roaming.
Yeah, Spox is usually playing the Brigitte for we have Orc now. He gets to play a bit of the far, and he's doing work on it. Unfortunately, JK Lol is here, finding the kill onto Sab once again. Boga goes down to Barbecue, and that's just cleanup after this. Mal's back on that Tracer, making it work.
This is a Trace. This is a character he was well known for, or he really enjoys playing, and you can see why. He get in there with the pulse pistols, gets the clean up, and now Side Effects reads what SMC has got. They're gonna switch their comp over. We're going directly into Zen Ghosts, and this is now that rock paper scissors we're talking about, right? You see what the enemy team is running. You play patiently until you get the open that you want. You die, you reset, you go back and change. And for Side Effects, they're gonna try and play a very aggressive in-your-face style to use that point to their cover.
Yeah, they want to rotate to point, but what they do not want to happen is for Mete's mech to go down almost immediately. The bomb doesn't find anything, but Slur's in a poor position here. Miles can just reset from one point to the other. They cannot find any respite from this guy and these pistols. Boga going down, he's hacked up. And you know what, that's it. Frost knows he has to go off the edge.
It's a good reset. The one thing here is that when we talk about goats, the one thing you cannot be is hesitant. You absolutely cannot be. Execution is all that matters. Side Effects, they walk in slowly and somewhat haphazardly, and then they fall to a man. So Side Effects, you need to be a lot cleaner. You've played goats for a lot longer. You know the rotations. And now with Pauly's EMP, they're walking into an ult storm realistically here from SMC.
Yeah, 5 ultis on the board. Out comes the EMP to begin it off as they just make the rotate. Once again, it's a little bit slow. Coalescence is through. Mouse finishes up with a pulse bomb to the face to Boga, and that will be that push done and dusted. And I think this comes down to Cave just been slow on the rotate. You would have thought this would be much more safe considering of the Moira with a high amount of healing. If they know they've got the EMP, they should just run into it face first and get rid of it as soon as possible.
You'd hope that that's what they're doing, but it does not appear that they seem to recognize that the EMP was even on the field. Now they're going to make a clean rotation into point, but it might be a little too late. Boger does have the Earth Shatter, and he will have to commit it, likely on just Primal Winston.
Shields away. Once again, Barbecue doesn't find anything from the ulti, but it does move them all the way to the side of the point where JK Lol and Gustav can balance environmental kills. So actually, it was a decent zoning ultimate after all. And that's going to be the fight pretty much done. Once you lose Frost and Boga, that's so much your front line. There's nothing less to be doing. And JK Lol is just going to laser down the rest of you.
This fight is a formality. They are going to dump the Coalescence in, but the point, even though it hasn't ticked over yet, will eventually. And this is what I was talking about. At 94%, they have to commit the resources. They can't allow this point to tick back. The Earth Shatter now, it's blank. The fight may have been going on for a while, but it realistically meant nothing. 97% of the EMPs available, they're not even gonna. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And the Wrecking Ball falls off. Here's the thing on that last fight, right, Blank? It's that when we talk about ult economy, and I said that you need to commit the Earthshot on the Primal or on the Primal Winston because in a composition that rotates so much, you don't have a lot of options to Earthshatter. And getting knocked off the map when you're at 94%, it just spells disaster. You cannot lose a fight in that regard.
It's a bit of a jinkies, yeah. It's not good, but I think that Diva ultimate was actually, if it was intentional, the fact that they threw the Diva ultimate in towards the middle to force them to the right side so they get the boops and the Primal Rage boops off as well, that is one insane play. And another thing that we kind of missed out on there, if that map did go on for longer, was instead of making the wholesale switches that we saw Side Effects make, what we saw was Shoes Money Crew making transitional switches. So Miles uses the pulse bomb, makes a switch over to Zarya, and then so on and so forth until they find their desirable composition. And I think this is what we need to see out of more teams, because you cannot be giving ultimate charge like that. You said with the Reinhardt, you can't just be throwing away Earth Shatters, like jumping off the map and being in a bad position.
And to your point about the self-destruct combo, I don't think they went for the juggle off the map, but it was probably a set play to set the self-destruct in and juggle somewhat into the self-destruct at the very least. So that was likely a play they had in mind. That being said, it doesn't matter the outcome; it's still a one fight. And I think SMC, it's been clinical. It absolutely has. It's tough to describe it as anything but, as they're up 1-0 in our series.
Yeah, they actually looked a little bit shaky. Well, not shaky so to speak, but not as strong as we would have liked them to see yesterday. But now they're looking absolutely dominant. And I don't know if it's because Side Effects is not as good of a team as I expected them to. But we do have our next map. It is going to be Kings Row as we move into this one. This is one where we actually did see Side Effects play an interesting composition with 3 DPS in the beginning. So if we get to see that again, see how they use that crossfire to shut down the Goats comp.
And now we can actually see if they're going to put JK Lol, continue him on the Winston, as they did on Ilios. You know, he
Man's a
didn't really have to.
beast. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his Winston looked really good. The Primal Juggle was actually impressive. He hit a couple of them that I wasn't necessarily expecting. A good combo on the Winston Primal. Now the question is, are they going to continue on the Winston play, or are they going to bring him over to the Reinhardt? Because that is now the marker for him. We know he can play Winston. This is not something that is surprising to us. But the Reinhardt, yes, he can play it, but it wasn't quite to the level we kind of expected as we set him up yesterday. So I'm curious to see how Shoes Money Crew react, and at least early on, at least in this very early start, it is looking like we're going to see that Ana, the Ana version of the Goats come in. So that you drop the Brig and you bring the Ana into play for that long-range sniping. Damage potential from the Ana for sure. That's sarcasm. She does not actually do it. She doesn't actually do a ton of damage.
Yes, maybe not. This is actually interesting. Let's see if they actually come out on this and they pick up a Brig at some point. If they do, it just means that they have a huge amount of pressure from the bio grenade and the sleep dart, but what they don't have is anything to shut down these heavy DPS comps. The Side Effects look like they're going to come out on, especially Frost on this Genji. Looks like he's not going to play. He's going back over to that Zarya for the time being. Boga onto the Reinhardt. I'm pretty sure this does mean that they can just run over Shoes Money Crew's composition because there is no Brigitte there. There is no armor pack to help JK Law. And when JK Law has been so far forward, it becomes a trouble.
They do have the Discord Orb, so they can't just run in willy-nilly because the Discord Orb coupled with the Bionade is still very potent. So Shoes Money Crew still have an advantage in this fight.
Yeah, Medi going very low already, though. Discord Orb pretty much always on him as he moves out of the way. There's the bio grenade we're talking about. Medi doesn't eat it up, and Boga is so low, will fall. No space can be accumulated now. They actually boops boxes back in. If they can pick up that it will be a huge pick. Amount already on 94 charge already. He's doing almost double the DPS he was doing before.
Both Zarya's about even in terms of ult charge, but look at the Reinhardt matchup, 70 to 29%. That Discord Orb is so punishing, and especially with the Bionade, you cannot pressure Nano Boost committed, as they're just going to walk here at Side Effects.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's like, you cannot walk towards Shoes Money Crew now, because anytime you do, Polly is getting so much healing out at the moment that he's pretty much going to always have this Nano Boost online as like a crutch. There comes out the Graviton, pulls everyone in. He tries to pick up the Brigitte there. JK also very low, but there's no healing coming through. So now Side Effects, they will find the opening that they were looking for. Sap takes down Gustav. This fight is done and dusted. Doesn't matter how many bio grenades you send at us now. We are done.
That is unfortunately the reason why the Ana, she's such a high risk, high reward character, right? If that Bionade lands, that Grav gets a full clean. That Transcendence is completely valueless. But unfortunately, the Matrix is there, the shield is there, they're unable to rotate it in time, and Side Effects are able to bring their superior pressure with the Transcendence forward, win the fight out, and they take themselves point one. And now, heading into Streets phase, this fight here, they didn't actually have to use a whole lot there on the take. It was literally only the Transcendence and Rally.
Yeah, Mouse is coming up towards another Graviton as well. Ideally, they want to hold them inside this choke. It's very difficult to get out here. And if you can hold them there, it gives you a lot of time to work. JK Law playing a little passive though on the moment as he goes very low. Boga gets booped in. Almost an opportunity for a good Earth Shadow. Drops it down. Boga blocks that one all the way up. There is a self-destruct in the middle. Doesn't find anything. And that will be Side Effects being crushed by the power of gravity.
That is good old-fashioned Goats for you, right? You see 4 ultimates lie, and at the very end, it's the team that uses them last that usually wins it. Shoes Money Crew, they hold the Graviton Surge as long as they can, and it ends up getting value. The support ultimates are no longer online, and they're able to win it out. So SMC find themselves another foothold yet again. Boger with this Earth Shatter now has control of the battlefield.
Side effects ideally here uses Transcendence aggressively. Barbecue does find Frost in the back. Boga is blocked out as well. There doesn't seem to be any coordination between these tanks so far.
Sab has now waited 3 fights in a row without using Transcendence. So the last time he used it was when they took point A. So actually, I take it back, 2 fights in a row when they were caught in tank ultimates. And unfortunately for him, that means that he didn't use it in the Zarya ultimate that Mao's had, and now he's going to have to use it in the next one that Mao's uses. So that's now a Transcendence that has completely been wasted in essence because he hasn't even had time to build up another one.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. And now, obviously, Mao's coming towards Graviton, so he has to hold on to it once again. Both rallies now out to give it a little bit of pressure. Projective barrier is onto the front line, so JKLO doesn't have that fallback anymore. There is the Transcendence of Sav. Mao's just going to wait it out. Graviton's going to come in after this one. You can almost tell it's coming in. There it is. Mane does not eat it. Out comes all the damage up behind. Mane's forced away from his team. JKLO picks up that kill. It's calm, it's dedicated, and it's done and dusted.
This is one of the things about Overwatch that is so fascinating. Ultimate economy is the name of the game. We talk about it a lot, and for very good reason. If you have better ult economy, you are going to win. It is very tough to play against large ultimates, that, especially like the ones that tanks have in GOATs, without the support ultimates to nullify them. Sab has to use the Transcendence early, and then Mao's has got the freest grab. If the Matrix is not there to eat it, then you just lose that fight. And Mao's reads the Matrix timing, and there's no problem there whatsoever.
It doesn't make any sense to me either. You said this before, he'd held him for 2 fights, then suddenly uses it aggressively, knowing that Mao's got the Graviton in the pocket. Frost wants to move forward here, get a Graviton off of his own. Spox just finds Polly, which gives him a little bit of time to get through. Out comes the self-destruct. A really nice pin there. Will move inside, but JK Lol, he's still in this one. Slur finds Boga. JK Lol now down. It's just Barbecue and Mouse desperately trying to cruise some charge onto their own ultimates, but that's almost 2.5 minutes beaten off the clock, just that first choke.
Yeah, you said it best. Time now is of the essence for side effects, and to put it this way, a side effect of having to take that long means that not only will you'll have ultimate economy here in this next fight, but unfortunately you're going to be getting at the end of second point with a minute or less remaining. You don't have a lot of wiggle room. This fight here is almost certainly last fight territory.
Yeah, there's literally coming to here where there isn't many moments you can get through. There comes through the Earthshire, does get some people in the back. Out comes the self-destruct. Charge is still available, but will not be there in time. But Gustav, he's out of the way. Discord Orb is on top of him. Slur will take him down. He's just out of position constantly. Boga does have the Discord on top of him. JK Law can just back it up here with the help from Barbecue. Diva Matrix is on top of him the entire time, making sure no harm comes from side effects. Now, they really do want to stagger here on the Frost. Well played to Gustav. He seemed like one of the weakest links on Young and Beautiful last season, but he seems to be amping it up here quite literally. His boops have been pretty phenomenal.
I think this is, oh boy, they're going to play for a very early hold. They don't want them to touch the point here, Brank. They don't, they have to look and fall behind them.
They coming. Moving on to point right now. Polly's going to have the rally. We'll be able to move it up. Spoxis doesn't have from his own, so they're going to have that armor buffer that first side effects have to eat through. But Frost, he has the Graviton. Boga goes so low. He's down. Barbecue, he gets the eat on the Frost as well. It was their last bastion of defense, and they don't find it. JK Lol, he has an Earth Shatter. He's going to use it to finish it off. Drop it down on the payload. There they go. Will be taking down everyone else. It's just Carve trying to get off the point. They won't find it. And a victory charge from JK Lol to bop him down. We'll finish this one off.
Okay, that last fight, side effects had 2 win conditions. 2! They had the Earth Shatter, they had the Graviton Surge, and both of them get taken out of the fight before the fight even commences. The Brig Shield Bash is there, and what does Boger do? He just dies. He just dies. And better yet, Shoes Money Crew recognizes that, right? They recognize that the Reinhardt was the win condition.
Time.
So what does the Diva do? Okay, I just have to keep Matrix up because they have to panic. They have to use the Graviton Surge. They don't have a choice. And then it gets denied as well. And now you're down 2 characters. You're down your 2 most impactful ultimates. And that's honestly the end of the round right there. Shoes Money Crew, man, they're doing so much in understanding how the rotations of GOATs works, and side effects are just playing into their hands. Side effects honestly is kind of struggling here, just understanding the basics of their composition. Never mind even going for the win, and that's gonna be very problematic for them here at 2 maps in. They do, however, positivity is gonna be had now. They do have a win condition. Stop the carts before halfway through second point.
That's pretty
It's
tough.
doable. It's doable.
It's doable. It's pretty tough though. I think here is Shoes Money Crew make a really good show for why ult tracking is so important, because the fact that they knew what was online at what time enabled them to make these plays. That is a cheeky Junkrat trap. I like that very much. But side effects, on the other hand,
Do you know what that trap is for, right? If they have a Hanzo or a Junkrat, or Genji,
they're gonna stand up there.
they're gonna stand up there.
You know they are. But Sav, yeah, he heals ult on the Transcendent for so long and then uses it poorly, and it doesn't enable anything. Shoes Money Crew, they will be moving in. JK Lol on the signature. He's on the Winston, drops the high ground, gets a little bit of cleave damage, and Barbecue will try split off Mede from the team.
It's a good halt there, actually. They don't have the Winston bubble early, and so now Dynamite from Frosty is actually going to be very, very valuable. But Barbecue doesn't care. Barbecue says no thank you, and we'll take him out of the fight. Oh.
Mace to the face. Apparently, Polly's going pretty huge. You don't have a Rhino on the team, doesn't matter. You got a miniature one in the form of a Brigitte, and Polly's happy to oblige.
Quite literally his squire, so it is JK. Oh, a little bit of a misread on the timing on his jump back, but that's okay. Poor Sab. You hate to see that as a Zen, you know? Last moments, Winston jumping at you, you can't get out. They're going for the stagger kills here.
I think he was actually trying to jump behind him to LOS.
Yeah.
I think it was trying to LOS Frost there to prevent the projected barrier, or LOS one of the healers. I don't know if he knows slurs on Moira though, so she's not throwing anything anytime soon. But 5 minutes 17 on the clock. There is a lot of time remaining. There's a lot of time for mistakes, so even if things do go wrong for Shoes Money Crew, they can still bring it back. They can still make switches.
They do have the Primal Rage. Oh, the Zed, no! Oh,
no, dude! Oh, he gets projected barrier, so he will be staying in the fight, but the Coalescence is there, and he's straight back on him. He forces out the trans. This is going to give opportunity for Mouse once again to drop down another big grab. There it is, drops on top. The cleave damage is huge. Saab is going to be falling first. How ironic indeed. Medihan trying to get to the point. Does not matter. Barbecue's just going to stare him down with the stink eye. Does not matter at all. Down it goes, and that is the second map going up the Shoes Money Crew.
Shoes Money Crew, man. Listen.
Damn. Pretty damn good. Not gonna lie.
Shoes Money Crew, man.
Yesterday, but not now.
It's a good time. I mean, maybe not necessarily for side effects. If we're being quite frank, Shoes Money Crew had the run of that one. Give a highlight of that last fight though. JK Low, he walks in. I think he probably spends a good like 4 or 5 seconds counting in my head alive without having to pop primal. Pressures the Zen.
I'm chilling.
Yeah. The thing that happens there though is he pops the primal, and while that's happening, Polly gets a kill on Cart. So the Transcendence actually gets negative value somehow, which is impressive considering there was no Ana available. So unfortunate for Sab there. It's a no-win situation if you're the Zen though, right? Like, what do you do? I have Trance. There's a Primal Winston. I have no appeal. You gotta Trance.
Think that he didn't have to transfer because he actually got bopped into Mega. And
he could have.
He backed up and if Mede came back and gave him Diva Matrix, maybe.
I think the problem there though. Yeah, the problem there though for Sab is that one of his players had already gone down. So even if he stays alive, his team does die. So I think maybe he doesn't transfer himself.
Be out.
Yeah. You put your hands up in Transcendence, so maybe it was a little bit of that too.
Maybe he's like, I surrender. Please, no more. I surrender with 6 hands, so you know it's real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's very tough, and I think Mede is actually, although playing pretty damn well in World Cup, the guy just, I don't know, man.
It's unfortunate.
Seems to be a little bit lackluster at the moment. It's tough for him.
It's tough to say too, though.
Yeah, go on.
It's tough too, though, because we talked about this about Boger being integrated into this roster. The off tank honestly gets punished a lot when your main tank is kind of, I guess, not necessarily in sync with your team. The off tank really is the true support of the team in terms of how they play, right? We don't really get to notice them unless they're having pop-off moments like with self-destruct. So I think for Mete, it's really, like, there's not really a whole lot you can do. Your front line's falling apart, your back line's falling apart, and as the diva, that's basically a no-win situation.
Yeah. Where do I go? Like, I have all this pace to fix the cracks in my team, but there's cracks on the ceiling and on the walls. Like, I don't know what to approach first. Tough for him.
Very tough.
Yeah, I think you're very right. It's quite difficult to look good on Diva, and it's even harder to look good on Diva when your team is crumbling around you. But I think that does come down to just JK Lol isolating targets, and now
Yeah.
he is playing that Chinese Contenders type of style with the Winston. It's so aggressive, and I think they know they can